So we are moving on with the keynote speeches. We are still missing one element. So we have the potential, we have the business model, we have the financing, but there's still one important player, which is the grid and the grid operator and how markets around grids are organized. And for that, it's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Nor Azlan Mostafa, the COO of Single Buyer from Malaysia, which organizes the energy market in Malaysia, buys electricity from IPPs, from TNB. And so we are very curious to hear what are the new rules, new regulations, how Single Buyer helps with the solar and storage integration. Please, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Again, I'm Azlan from Single Buyer of Peninsula Malaysia. I'm supposed to present a topic of innovative approaches to energy storage for enhancing grid reliability. Innovative, I'm not sure, but what I can do is I can present what Malaysia is trying to do. And the thing is, with Peninsula Malaysia, we do not have large-scale battery yet, but we are going into that direction. In fact, we are looking at 500 megawatt of large-scale battery by 2026. 100 is for pilot to see what we can do with the batteries. Another 400 is for the grid. So in the journey towards implementing this large-scale battery into the system, that's where we can, I can at least share the experience. Okay. So in a context, who is Single Buyer? So we are a department within the utility itself, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, but we are ring-fenced. The thing is, we are procuring energy to put into the grid, but we're also buying from our parent company. We're also buying from other IPPs like Malakoff and YTL. So that's why we need to be ring-fenced. So we work closely with our Energy Commission, Suruhanjaya Tenaga. We work closely with the government, Ministry of Energy. We have our own oversight panel chaired by the regulator, and every 2 years we are being audited. So that's our role as procurer of energy. And in Peninsula Malaysia, our model is a single buyer model, where it's based mostly on PPAs, long-term PPAs. We are not a market yet. And another role for us is as the planner. So that's where the battery comes in. So for the long-term planning that we foresee, with the government push towards more solar, more renewables into the system, and mostly it will come from solar. And battery is where we look at as a must, as you said. So that's where this transition will come in, okay? So this is the outlook for Peninsula Malaysia. From now until 2050, we see that there will be doubling of our peak demand. So we have to prepare for that. And the reason for that is, among other things, data center. I think you all have read in news. The data center is coming huge, big and fast into the southern part of Peninsula Malaysia in Johor Bahru. So up to 30% of total demand by 2030, which is about 5 years from now, will come from data center. And they need 24/7, stable electricity for us to provide. And then you also have EV coming in. 15% from the total industry volume by 2030. That's what our progression is, our forecast. And our economy is growing quite steadily. So our GDP growth is 4.4% per annum. So all this will need more energy for us to provide. And with the move by the government towards renewable, that will be a challenge. Okay. So these are the commitments set up by the Malaysian government. So for the COP28, we are saying that reduction of greenhouse gas emission intensity by 45% by 2030 compared to 2005 levels. And also we have launched NETR, National Energy Transition Roadmap. And part of the NETR is that we will have 70% of RE capacity from renewables in the mix by 2050. So these are aspirational targets. We also said net zero carbon by 2050 as well. So so we need all the help in the system to make it more stable and reliable. Okay. So looking at this target, So for example, 70% of renewable energy in the mix capacity by 2050. So this is one of the possible scenario. So in order to meet the net zero as well as a 70% target, so if we have 70% of renewables, that's the green color. So by 2050, what we can see as a possibility, coal is no longer in the picture because of the net zero carbon target. So no new coal plants will be built in Malaysia. So that 39% gray color, that's coal, will no longer be there. Gas is still there. And we are looking at interconnection, the top one, 7%. Interconnection also from Sarawak within our country as well. And we also have possibility nuclear. We're looking at possibility of nuclear as well. Gas with CCS. So this is one scenario that we are looking at. And out of that 70% renewables, because Malaysia is in the equator, our wind is not so strong. So basically, we're powered by solar. You can see 94% from solar. We have hydro as well, but our hydro potential in Peninsular Malaysia is limited now. We have exhausted. We're looking at pump storage as well. Non-solar is only 1%. So basically, mostly from solar. And you know, with solar, it's the intermittency, and it's only available during the day. So that's the challenges facing us in our journey towards 2050. So definitely with that, battery can play a central role to manage this increased penetration of solar in the system. But how do we put batteries into the system? You know, who's going to pay for it, and what's the model that we can look at? Okay? So who should own and operate the battery and the system? Who bears the financial and operational risk? So that's why when we are looking into this journey, and by 2026, 500 megawatt is coming in. So what are the models that is available that we can utilize? So again, we do not have it yet. So in the journey, we are looking at a few options. So what are the things that we can consider when you want to put it in? We see this at least we can see from 4 angles. Technology-wise, I'm not a battery expert, so I think we have a few experts in the panel just now talking about the technology, you know, sodium ion, lithium ion. So I think that I'll leave it to the specialists to talk about that. But with advancement in technology, we hope that the battery can last more than 4 hours, longer duration, safer, operational. So that's one thing we can look at. Regulatory, we need guidelines so that everybody is clear on what to do, whether battery is included, is it mandatory or not, and possibly on the tariff as well. Who's supposed to pay? Is it socialized? Is it causal pay? For planning as well, because now with solar coming in, more solar, so in terms of the location, transmission planning also comes into play. So we are embarking on integrated system planning. So we're looking at capacity as well as the location, introduction of RE zone. With RE zone, possibly the battery will be part of the zone. So again, to facilitate the planning. Commercial. How do we make it viable? You know, so it must be sustainable. I think there was an issue about bankability of the programs. So these are the things that we need to look at. Okay. So again, in terms of the consideration for our experience. So in terms of the battery operation, what is the function that is expected from the battery? Is it just voltage regulation that requires only 1 hour battery, for example? Is it peak shaving that requires maybe 4 hours? Pump storage, maybe 8 hours, you know. That's not battery, that's hydro. So the functions will determine the potential revenue stream for the battery. System. So do we have a limit on the VRE? So as of now, in Peninsular Malaysia, up to 6,000 megawatt of solar without battery can be sustained. Beyond that, we do need batteries. So the size of the batteries also is important. Economies of scale versus community battery. Standalone, or is it hybrid? Market structure, business model for battery shall be financially viable, adaptable to current and upcoming market structure. Is it now, because we are not market, we are power purchase agreement as of now. So are we going to continue with the batteries as PPA, or are we going for merchant? We do have a NEDA, it's a pseudo market, meaning that whoever does not have a power purchase agreement can still sell to the grid through a NEDA scheme. So do we do that for the battery? So those are the things that we need to think about. revenue stream again, sustainable business model for recovery of the capital. Financing, well, battery project, as I said, is new in Malaysia. We are just embarking on them. What about the bankability of it? So the business model to provide assurance to the financiers. Okay, so what I can share now are two programs. So how does the government look into this? So I can share two programs on how to encourage introduction of battery into the system. The first one is the CGPP, Corporate Green Power Program. It was, this one is a precursor to CRESS. I think there's some issues on the CRESS. This one is before that. And the way we do this is that it's a direct from the solar power producer to the customer, but they must go through NEDA, this pseudo market that we have, and they will be paid with SMP, but then they will have a contract for difference, so they will have a strike price with their customer, so that they can at least negotiate the price with their customer first, and then they can proceed. And in this program, it's not mandated because it's between two parties, but it's encouraged to install. And the reason behind this is that if the consumer wants green energy, and if solar is only available in the afternoon, so if they can extend it through batteries, then, that's one way of increasing the portfolio of green. But unfortunately, it did not go, they just go with solar only, because at night they will get it from the grid. So in terms of encouraging battery with this CGPP, it was not successful, so no batteries came in. And after that, we introduced CRESS. Now CRESS, again, I heard about some controversy, people are not happy with the system access charge, but we just launched it last month, September. Okay, so we are taking notes of this. But the way we do with CRESS now is a third-party access. Directly, the RE developer will go straight to the consumer, but there will be system access charge. And the way we want to encourage battery, we have two access charge. One, if it comes with the battery, lower. If it comes without a battery, higher system access charge. So then the grid will need to invest for the people. Okay. So these are some of the program ongoing. We are open for registration for CRESS. People have signed in, so we will look how it progresses. Okay. So to end, key takeaways, battery will play a central role in the energy transition by enhancing the grid reliability. Innovation is key, of course, technology, regulatory, planning and commercial. All stakeholders have to work together to create an environment for battery to prosper and play its intended role. So that's it from me.
Okay, thank you very much. It's very good to know that the regulators also think about hard how to integrate solar storage. We have time for one quick question, please, and identify yourself and your affiliation, please. You can take mine.
Michael Sheng from IC. My question is, you recently published the wheeling charge for corporate PPAs, generators with battery, without battery, and the difference is quite significant. And how did you derive that wheeling charge?
Fair enough.
How do we derive? I don't think I'm at liberty to share, but if you look at the differences, okay, so, I think if you look at, I think everybody is aware that the differences is about 20 cents per kilo hour. So meaning that we calculated that the price of battery is 20 cents per kilo hour. So if you are coming in with the battery, then you will have the lower charge, but if not, then the grid will need to invest. So that investment is at 20 cents per kilo hour. So that's the difference. So of course, the best is for the developer to come in with the battery. Then it's good. If not, then the grid will need to invest for you. So, but how we calculate? I think you can do your maths. So I think.
Okay, wonderful. Then thank you.
Thanks
again.
Okay.